Reed Hastings explains why he's stepping down as Netflix CEO. Is this? Wow. That's pretty big news.
Mm-hmm. I think he was co-CEO, right?
Co-CEO, but he's OG status.
Yep.
He's Mr. Netflix. Netflix Inc. co-founder Reed Hastings is stepping down as chief executive officer after leading the company for more than 2 decades. In a blog post, Hastings said he will assume the role of executive chairman and leave the CEO role to 2 longtime executives, Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters. Hastings, 62, has been signaling he planned to step aside for a few years. He elevated one of his successors to co-CEO in 2020, as he mentioned, and named the other COO at the time. Delegated almost all Hollywood decisions and has gradually pulled back from day-to-day affairs. For myself, this is his quote, I'll be helping Greg and Ted and, like any good chairman, be a bridge from the board to our co-CEOs. I'll also be spending more time on philanthropy and remain very focused on Netflix stock doing well. and Netflix is fine. You understand?
Yeah.
I'll do a little philanthropy and Netflix is fine. Enough already. Well, Netflix, like, it's got the heat. The heat is on for Netflix. Like, we already talked about it, right? Mm-hmm. Well,
although the next story might be a little bright star.
Oh, a little bright spot for Netflix. Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we're definitely in a time right now. The streaming wars, social media. There's a lot up in the air. The chips will fall where they may, and we don't. It's the landscape. It's difficult to predict. You've had this extreme amount of growth that's just very difficult to maintain across any of these social medias that have now matured and any of these streaming services which have now matured. And when you talk about Netflix and you say, oh, slowing down, aren't we? And it's like, well, maybe the rate of growth was so astronomical that it was unsustainable anyway. And
there's a lot of things that's slowing down.
A lot of things are slowing down, including Reed Hastings himself. He's like, I'm slowing down.
Yeah.
Philanthropy, and I'm going to have breakfast in the morning without worrying about my meetings and whatever else. So, yeah, it's some of it seems like it was unavoidable and it was going to happen regardless. But I suppose when you're on one of these boards or you're one of these shareholders, well, you're inclined towards unlimited growth.